Thanks, everyone. Start a little bit late, but another great topic. Um, check in when you join us. We're gonna discuss this topic that's becoming a big deal in not just in Ghana but Africa in general. Unemployment, and I think with the COVID and everything has exacerbate the unemployment condition. So we are trying to tackle what is causing this high unemployment in youth and underemployment, which you have people who are employed but they can barely make end meet, in the middle of the month. So I want to just run this by the fellas. Later on, the ladies might join us to see what is it that they can pinpoint what is causing this unemployment and underemployment in Ghana or Africa in general. What do you guys think, fellas? Let's take it. Unemployment. What's the deal? What's going on?
I think the unemployment situation is something that um, for the last couple of years, if we're talking about if we're talking about it in general, is something that has always been there, right?
Hmm.
But I think it's been more um, in the mainstream the last couple of years due to the COVID situation that is affecting the rest of the world. Um, it has been magnetized. Um, magnified even more. Excuse me, Ariel. It has been magnified even more
Hmm.
um, due to the COVID situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as leaders of the country, I think there are steps that can be taken to really create some kind of job fair for the citizens of the country because there are a lot of people with degrees that don't have a job, you know, let alone people who don't have anything at all, whether they have vocational skills or, something that they just know by nature, the job is not there and it's creating a lot of chaos at this moment because, the citizens feel like there's nothing for them to do. And who
Mm-hmm.
did they blame first? It's always the government, you know. I think when the current government was campaigning, um, he made some, or he has said some things in
Hmm.
regards to, you know, um, creating some jobs like factories for every region and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I don't know if that has taken place
Hmm.
or not. All I know is I see people crying daily. There are no jobs, for
Hmm.
them to do, But then we need to define what jobs they're looking for, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because I can use you guys who are building back home and say, hey, you always got people at your site always working, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of people are building now in Ghana. So are they looking for specific jobs for them to do?
Hmm.
Tailor-made jobs, office jobs. They don't want no dirty type jobs, because a job is a job, whether it's being a mechanic. One of our problems, man, and I find that out when I came to the United States. There are certain jobs that people don't respect back home, and they're major here, you know, and that's a mechanic because when you go to a mechanic, man, what they charge you, man, you'll be sitting there going, what? Fita. But
That's right.
they make a lot of money. You guys know that. You've taken your cars to the shop, you know? So what kind of jobs are they really looking for? You know, is it, I understand people that went to school and got a degree in maybe marketing, accounting, that's all they know. But if you got to eat, man, does it really matter?
Nope.
Right? And are the new
Good point.
generation more lazier than the past generation? These are
Mm,
some of the questions we need to ask. I know there are problems. Okay, I get it.
Great
But
points.
are you just are you looking for a specific job, or are you just looking for work to do to make ends meet? You know?
mm.
These are some of the things that we need to ask, the people that are crime foul about not having a job.
Two G's. What do you think?
Causing of unemployment and
Mm,
underemployment in Ghana or Africa in general. The economy. I think the system is broken. I think we all can agree that we don't have a strong system.
Good point.
Um, when you don't have a strong system, jobs don't get created. We don't have enough factories. We don't have enough hospitals. We don't have enough anything. Most people are really surviving because of majority of people that are outside the country.
mm-hmm.
If everybody has to return home,
Great points.
I think the country will definitely will be a mess. I think the economy is stable because of people sending money back home, pumping the money back home. That's the reason why, the money circulating and being able to exchange and keep the dollar and the city just floating and moving.
Yeah.
That really makes a huge difference. But
Good point.
in reality, I'm telling you, if everybody have to move back home, or if people stop sending money back home for just 1 year, I'm very sure you might be able to get a land in East Lagan for maybe 5 grand.
Great points.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody stop sending money back home. I mean, that's reality. But the system is broken. I mean, you know, from my understanding, I don't really know too much about the history, but based on a little bit that I studied and read upon and heard, you could tell that Nkrumah had a lot of factories in place and a lot of things that he dreamed of, or he started on, and now pretty much ran down. Like none of it exists today. And
Good point.
that go back to the leadership. That go back to the people that run the country, and all that is part of the economy, right? If the economy is broken, you're not being able to maintain, factories and hospitals and stadiums and things that will actually provide jobs for the people. It's not, it's not working. It's not working. I mean, you look at America, you go to McDonald's right now, not hiring, $15 an hour. You go to Target, not hiring. You go to Walmart, not hiring, but where we from, only way you can get a job is either your family member or a close
Mm,
friend or somebody you paid your way in. And most of these companies are not even owned
Good
by
point.
Ghanaians. Most of them are owned by the Lebanese.
mm-hmm.
So most people are surviving just buy and sell, man, and
Mhm.
restaurants and just truck buys and
Mm,
putting kids on the street, and it's just buy and sell. That's really what it is right now. That's good because it doesn't make sense why a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old should be selling ice water on the street when they should be in school.
Great points.
You
mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying? You don't see that in America here. You don't see, I'm very positive, you don't see people selling ice water on the street when you go to Europe in the Western world. But how come we have 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds that's supposed to be in school selling ice water on the street? Because the parents
Good point.
don't have jobs. And it doesn't even matter what kind of career you have back home, whether, it's even a mechanic or engineer or a tradesman, like there's no work. And even if you qualify, you're still not going to be able to get in because you don't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Great
not like
point.
here where you get the job interview, you get the well, you fill an application, and if your qualification makes sense, you don't need to know anybody to get an interview. Your interview is based on your qualification. They call you based on your qualification. You have to pass the background checks, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because you know what you're applying for is
Good
something that you
point.
went to school for. But over there, you can have all the degrees in the world. If you don't know anybody, man, they rather hire the nephew. They rather hire the cousin. They rather hire the person who came out with the money in the
Great
envelope.
points.
The brown envelope speaks higher than the degree, and it's because the system is what broken. So I think that's why there's a lot of unemployment. There's not enough factories. There's not enough hospitals. There's not enough. It's just not enough jobs for people to stand on. There's less job, more people, and you can tell there are people that are willing to work,
Good point.
even though, but the majority of them don't even have degrees. I think majority just hard labor work. That's why you probably see a lot of masons, people who carry mortar on their head and just what they call a bad day,
Great point.
just day by day. Because
Mhm.
if they get a degree, they're going to be home. So what's the point? If you don't have anybody in high power, you ain't going nowhere with your degree. I have a nephew right now who's at home. He passed Ligon with everything that he's supposed to. Put in almost 200 applications. Still home. Guess what he's doing now? He wants you to ship something so he can sell. Because at least, you know, he knows. So his only hope is what? Is to leave the
Good
country.
point.
And it's like I made the point the other day, you can start first grade with somebody in Ghana, go to university with somebody in Ghana, graduate on the same day with somebody in Ghana. But if you are privileged to leave Ghana, this person that you started life with now will be calling your boss because he'll be the one taking care of your property. Because he doesn't own that property that you are able to build outside of Ghana.
Yeah.
Good point.
So as that tell you, the system is broken. Unemployment is high because the system is broken. Underemployment is, happening because there's corruption. And we do the leaders. If you don't have a proper foundation, everything will what? Crumble.
Yeah. I'm gonna piggyback of what Alex was saying earlier. Is that one of the things that is devastated to anybody is pursuing your education, knowing that when you graduate, you're not gonna get a job, right? Or the chances of you getting utilizing the skill is just like who you know and
Hmm.
whether you have the brown paper envelope.
Hmm.
And so you have a situation that a lot of people are just they are taking these classes, they are enrolling to this university, but they know there's a high degree that when they come home, it will be very, very difficult to apply that. So they're just doing it for the heck of, I got a degree, maybe it might help. So you have
Hmm.
that element. And you also have a young, society, youth who are looking at the way people are living lavishly is either through politics,
Hmm.
right? So either you're a politician or you are a minister or you are, you, what are the other group?
Scammers.
Yeah, scammers, right? Right? So they look at it,
Yahoo boys.
Yahoo boys,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And stuff like that. You see them with a backpack on Monday, but they're working all right, you know. And so you have that. So then what happens, man, if we let's say if we remove our remittance that we send back home, and let's say all the foreigners who have created jobs in these African countries, let's say if they shut it down,
Hmm.
man, we collapse these countries.
Facts.
We collapse them like overnight,
Hmm.
right? And so you have that. You have that, and then what happens also then is a lot of people have got into construction, and you
Hmm.
see that. I remember when I was in Ghana a couple of months ago, we were on site, and two elderly couple showed up. Right, not a couple, but two guys. They showed up, and one, I think they're in like late 50s or mid 60s, and they came on site and they were like, "Oh, do you guys have any job for us? We can carry some cement and stuff like that." And man, I
It
was
hit
like,
you.
man, this is our fathers right here, man.
Uh-huh.
And the job, and I don't even think physically they could handle the job, right? But they had to do something, right?
Uh-huh.
They had to do something. So the construction industry, yes, there's a lot of people. I can tell there's always people showing up. Hey, what can I do? What can I do? But also, not everybody can do that kind of job, right? Not everybody, because if there's only 10 houses being built in your neighborhood, it's only 10 houses being built in your neighborhood, right?
Uh-huh.
And you can only have so many people at a time. So you have that. And then you get into a point that it's like people are taking mediocre job under unemployment section. So they are getting paid 350, 400 cities, maybe 500 cities, 600 cities a month. And you can't live off that. You can't rent. You buy your credit, transportation, food. If you're a lady, feminine products, right?
Uh-huh.
That is not sustainable. So you got to come up with some extracurriculum activities,
Uh-huh.
right? Because that is the only way. This, and you see that a lot in Ghana, that their job is not what is feeding them. These all extracurriculum activities. That is what they actually is sustaining their lifestyle. And so when you have that like Alex was saying on the government, and this is not just like this particular government. I think the unemployment thing has been worse for several. I'll put it probably like at least 16 years or something like that. And so when you have these politicians sell these dreams and they get in power and they don't even deliver, and you become a situation where there's despair in the youth. And that is why when we go start to do businesses, we face all kinds of stuff, right? You have the implosion of land guards.
Uh-huh.
You have all this stuff going on because people got to eat and they're in survival mode.
Uh-huh.
And the thing for some of us, sometimes we don't think about these things because we are like we live in a vacuum. Is this thing when you get down there and somebody's in a survival mode, he has no ethics. Forget his ethics. If he has to eat, and that is just human nature. If I have to eat, I'm gonna eat.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna get it the way I get it. It's like, and and so I don't I don't even know. This pushes us to the second question. Do you guys think this thing is going to improve? Like let's say what I mean improve. Let's say in the next 10 years, are we going to have a situation in which at least let's say the youth we can get at least 60-70% of employment, and then you're always going to have people who doesn't want to do anything in any society. They're going to be some, and you're always going to have your Yahoo boys and all kind of other things. But you have a situation that people really want to work, but there's nothing really to do, so they're just hanging around. They're on the street. So do you guys think this is going to improve anytime soon, or what do you guys think is going to be the same next 10 years?
I mean, there's always room for improvement, right? Even at our workplaces, when we do our eval, it's always room to improve. So to sit here and say,
Great points.
um, nothing will change will be a lie because we don't know. But the right steps need to be taken in
Mhm.
terms of
Good point.
the government, right? There are
Mhm.
a lot of things that need to change for Ghana to move forward in the right direction, right? And
Mhm.
everything start with how we structure our
Great point.
bylaws and creation of things and not selling the country to foreign entities and not
Mhm.
having um,
Good point.
2G's mentioned something earlier. He said, well, a lot of these jobs were owned by the Lebanese.
Mhm.
That's not good.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
if most of these jobs are owned by foreign entities, then
Mhm.
basically we're in a mess.
But
Now,
look at it this way, Eric. No, Alex. Look at it this way. If the government is not creating them, right? So think about it. If the government is creating them, and somebody is creating it, somebody's employing some part of the youth. To the government, it's a good thing because basically the responsibility they're supposed to hold, they're not holding it. So if somebody is doing that, from the government eyes, that's good. But for sovereignty for sovereignty and even I would say like a national security aspect, you want your domestic economy to be run by locals. You don't want all your industries to be controlled by an armed force entity, whether friendly or hostile.
Mhm.
That is not good long term, but that is only if you are thinking. Then, but if you are not thinking and you don't care about things, you can still listen. Anybody that is creating the jobs, that's fine. So maybe to the government, it's like you don't have any problem. Like other groups are creating the jobs.
well, you know, when you think you belong to a sector or you belong to a nation, and everything within that nation is owned by a foreign entity, do you really own that nation?
Nope.
Because
Nope.
if these foreign entities one day just pick up their bags, right,
Mhm.
or just
Great
go on
point.
a strike, like people do a demonstration, whatever it may be, and say, you know what, we're done.
Mhm.
All right. What is going to happen to that country? Right? Are we creating like forums that talk about job creation for the people of
Good
that
point.
nation? Are we promoting Ghana first? You know, are we um, empowering the youth? You know, to create new things.
Hmm.
This all start from the top. You
Hmm.
know, if the mentality from the people above
Great points.
is to put Ghana first, then I think it'll permeate throughout. You know, we have a better understanding of what we need to do as a country, what steps we need to take, what part you need to play, what role you need to play. You know, these all these things will be in place.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But if it's not talked about, it's like you can't say nothing. You
Mhm.
can't challenge authority. You know, you say something to somebody who's not doing things right because they're
Good
older than
point.
you. It's like, you don't have the right to talk to me like that.
Hmm.
Dude, what are you doing for me?
Great
You
point.
know, why do I need to go why do I need to go break into somebody's house to eat?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I need to go rob somebody to eat?
Good point.
You know, why do I need to do all these, illegal stuff is everywhere around the world.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of people who don't have to be involved in those things.
Sure.
Yep.
But because there's nothing, right? And
Uh-huh.
people in power are doing nothing to help
Those people.
those people or fix the situations that we're going
Mm-hmm.
through. We're always in limbo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why some of these leaders have become like a $2 hope.
Mm.
It's just any small amount, any small amount of money will buy them. Your leadership is to make Ghana better, Ghana first.
Yeah.
And if those steps are not taken, then dude, you're in the right place. Ma'am, you're in the wrong place. Sir, you're in the wrong place. You need to give that seat up to somebody who can use it
Mm-hmm.
for job creation, for the betterment of the country. Hey, we're in the United States, man. You know how Americans think. America first.
Yes,
It
sir.
don't matter. They can be wrong. He
Mm-hmm.
can be this, he can be that. But
Great point.
America is first. So, I challenge some of these leaders. I challenge Nana Addo because he's the one in power now
Mm-hmm.
to look at some of these things, right? Because the youth are crying that there are no jobs. Promises were made to have these job creations during the campaign. Let it happen.
That's also a
Let's
comedy.
spend more time creating jobs, things that will help the nation, than things that we're spending money on that really, I don't want to say what I want to say, but you guys know what I'm talking about. There's something
Mm-hmm.
going on right now that we spend a lot of money on that really it's not going to bring any value. It's not job creation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a building being there. I don't know how that building is going to serve the nation, but
Mm.
a lot of money is going to be spent to put up this building,
Mm-hmm.
right? So at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, why are those factories that were promised, have they even started? Have we seen anything? Back when I was growing up, my mom used to work at the shoe factory in Kumasi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I guess it was owned by the whites because before I knew it, it was shut down and everybody, everyone was unemployed, So, I don't know. Those times, things were booming, man. Things were good. Now
Mm-hmm.
we don't have anything like made in Ghana this, made in Ghana. There's nothing.
No, nothing.
Mm-mm.
Like
Not even
Tucci
Ghana.
said earlier, it's buy and sell, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone buys and sell, man.
Hand to mouth.
Hand to mouth. Even water, you got to buy
Good
water and
point.
sell. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Insu and all that stuff, buy and sell. So it starts from the top. If this is going to be, if this trend will be stopped, it needs to be a mentality from above
Mm-hmm.
because most of Africans, man, their followers, they follow what they see. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
they
hear
don't
this
go
one.
and say, I'm a do this. No, it's what. So if the leaders come out and say, what, this is what we're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
or go to another African country, go to Rwanda, learn from Paul. It's Paul, right? Paul Kagame.
Yeah, yeah, he's a
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
real man.
learn and ask some questions. How were you able to do this, that? How did you create all this stuff?
That's the pride, man. The pride will not let them learn.
What pride, man? Sometimes you swallow that pride, man. You know,
Said
You know,
and done.
everyone is praising the
some people
addition.
are failing. They are failing, but they actually think they are winning.
Mm.
Listen, everyone, we're sitting here, right? We're sitting here praising Paul Kagame for what he's done. Okay, the
Mhm,
infrastructure, the job creation, you know, the highways, the road structure, you know, all that. So at the end of the day, it can be accomplished. We have so much resources not to be able to do these things. You know,
mhm,
do trade with some of these resources and have some of these things created for the nation, owned by the nation, owned by the
mhm,
Ghanaian people, you know, and not situations where we're slaving in our own country,
Mm.
mhm.
you know? So
Good point.
2G, what do you think? It's gonna get better anytime soon? 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, we will get there. It's just that it's gonna take a while. How soon? I don't know. Maybe my great grandkids, but like, but it will definitely get better. It's just it's a sad situation, man. It looks like there's a lot of cleanup to do.
Hmm.
There's a lot of cleanup to do. But you could tell this new generation, like we talked about the last time, the youth, man, the social media, the influence, that they are woke, like they know what's going on now.
Great points.
When people know what they deserve, you know what's going to happen. If they don't
Yep.
get it, they're gonna find a way to get it. You know, so I mean, at this point, like I said, you know, if you don't have family relative there, you can't relate because you only go there for a vacation. Where you got people out
Right.
there suffering, man.
True.
Looks like
Good
there's no
point.
way out. The only way they can get out is get a passport and get a visa. You know,
Mm.
because that's the only way out. Because overall, it's tough, man. It's very, very tough. Because a youth with no employment, a youth with no skill, a youth with no education is just believe it or not, man. I'm sorry, but that's a useless future.
Yep.
It's just a cycle. You just keep going, you know, back and forth,
Yep.
back and forth, back and
Great
forth.
points.
So they got to do better, man. They got to start building some kind of camps and train kids to do something, invent something. You may even have a kid in the village who has all these wonderful engineering ideas, but guess what? There's no support.
no support. Yeah.
That's
There's
about.
no support, man. So,
And I think people underestimate the 22-year-old high testosterone who has no future, can't get a job. People underestimate what that person is willing to do.
hmm
And I think there are people that live in a bubble. This issue, I see it. Me being Kaswa, I see it vividly. There are some people, man, they'll kill you and eat Gary Soakins. It
absolutely,
doesn't even phase them.
hmm
You
all the
know,
time.
it's like, and people, but when you get close to them,
hmm
it's just the condition that they find themselves in.
And
It's just that they want to do something, but there's no avenue.
no
You
support.
can't say everybody should go see a sell pure water. I mean, that's not sustainable for everybody, right? And so when you have that going on, I don't know what is going to happen, but either way, something is going to happen, good or bad, because I can't see this trend to. This is so bad that even the West is actually scared of it. They have contingency plans about what happens if some of this stable democracy, whatever they call it, if the shit should implode. They actually have contingency plans and they are worried about it. Any country that has high single youth employment, it's only a matter of time.
hmm
It's only a matter of time that is going to be chaos. So, and sometimes, sometimes you got to put an animal down to let the animal know that that's the way it's supposed to be. Some people will never learn. They can see all the signs and they feel like they're not going to come up with concrete measures to actually alleviate this kind of problems. They have to hit rock bottom, right? And it's like it is something that I really, really think about. Um, this employment, if there's one thing that gives me headache is the youth unemployment. Because
Yeah.
and that is why like that is why the country's like that is what everybody is trying to scam you. I mean real talk. Because that's the way, man. How you gonna eat? How you gonna eat? You know, if he people say a whole pure water every day and it will say 30 Ghana. If a mother is on the street, because what is pure water? 25 cities, 50 pesos, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it's warm, nobody wants to buy it, right? And when you are selling, there's other 10 pure water people next to you. You see what I'm saying? And so, and you think about a mother with two kids, can't live off that. You just can't live with it. So the desperation, the ground is swelling. The desperation is there. So what do we say? This question. What should we um so what should the youth do if they cannot find employment in Africa? What should they do now? What do you guys think? If you're there, like 2Gs, like you say your cousin or whatever graduated from Legon, uh, did well, and is sitting at home, right?
Hmm.
So there's a difference between the person really because the unemployment basically is cutting across everything, regardless of
Hmm.
education. It's like it's not like people are who are not educated. It's just like people are not educated at home. And so, what should they do? What do you tell them? What do you tell them?
Nothing. I mean, what can you do? You know, you need to start business. You need to have the capital. You go borrow it, or it ain't gonna fall from the sky.
Hmm.
So the best option is just keep pushing, right? Keep pushing, and music or instruments,
Good
or
point.
you just got to start using your imaginations at this point, because you know, and like in the Western world, but majority of people they pursue to come out here because they know they can at least drive an Uber and go to school and plan for a better future for themselves, But you just have to be creative. You have to come up with something. Right now with social media, right now, you already know you don't need any degree to make a millionaire. You have 12, 10-year-old
Hmm.
millionaires right now thanks to YouTube. So at this point, you start to realize that you shouldn't even. I'm sorry, but the degree is really pointless because I know few people that have masters from Ghana that they're out here driving Uber right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I know a few people who never step a foot in the classroom, but guess what? They are homeowners driving Mercedes. What does that tell
Hmm.
you?
Hmm.
So you gotta be creative, man. You gotta creative. You gotta at this point start educating yourself on how
Hmm.
to actually get yourself out of that situation.
Hmm.
But I
Good
think
point.
it should start with before you actually get out of the school. You know what I'm saying you should start this like maybe your first or your second year in college over there because you're not going to be the first example.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have
Great points.
other people, your neighbors, somebody that will be ahead of you that telling you like, dude, why you even go to school knowing I've been home for the past 3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
Why bother yourself? You might as well go learn a trade.
Yeah.
I have a cousin, the one I'm
Good
talking about.
point.
His sister, who's a teacher, just told me the other day she just bought a sewing machine.
Hmm.
See what I'm talking about? Now you got to be creative.
Great
Now you got
point.
to start looking outside that degree.
Yeah.
So she bought a sewing machine now, knowing that at least every week or every month she might be able to what? get something that will be outside of teaching, paycheck.
Hmm.
So you have to start using your imagination. You got to start being creative. You got to start doing things that you never imagined yourself doing. You have to learn how to adjust yourself to that system that you are living in, just like we do here. I know people
Good
that
point.
I know people that got jobs over here who lied on their application to get the position, and then they figure themselves out after they got hired. You know what I'm saying?
The
Great
things we
points.
do.
Yeah, the things we do, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, you got to start being creative. You got to start using your imaginations. You got to, it sucks, but you got to start understanding that this world is actually bigger than your degree right now, and
Right.
that's reality.
You gotta be flexible.
Yep. And social media is probably
It's not
another.
making it easy on them, man. They see the bling bling, they see the lifestyle.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
at the same time, I always say, man, before they say like the power lie between the power between life and death lies in the tongue. Right now,
Yeah.
man, is right here on your palm, your cell phone. Your cell phone has
Right.
everything you need to be successful, or everything you need to be a bum. It's all in your phone.
That's right. I'll take this comment. We've been farming since the beginning of time, so we should go back to farming. We are vast land. You see, farming. So I hear these things. So you have to understand this. Sometimes from the West, we look at farming compared to the way we farm back home. In the West, those farmers are successful because of the subsidies they get. A lot of tax breaks for equipment and all that stuff. One of the things that the farmers are not, it's not a good lucrative because logistics is a big thing. Not only that, too, we are importing tomatoes, right? We're importing all this stuff. Okay. So farming only becomes useful to the nation if the government has a quota of what needs to be imported and what also needs to be produced domestically. Because a lot of the farming produce are just going to waste. You're getting waste because you gotta get a vehicle, you gotta transfer from the transport system is a challenge, and you gotta get to the clients, and they have to sell it very quickly. And the average Ghanaian is appetite or her appetite is getting used to something that is foreign more than domestic. So give and take, you have two tomatoes, one from another country and one from Ghana. Chances are they're going to move towards the one that was imported. So, so on the surface, it looks like that is a great solution, but there's also a lot of challenges in that. We grew up with what is it, Kwabda Dakon, right? The poultry, right? Is it Dakon? Dakon Poultry
Darko
Farm?
Farms, yeah.
Yeah,
Naco
those
Farm. Naco
collapsed.
Farms.
Daco Farms. When we grew up, that was the biggest one in Ghana, I think, that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It collapsed. Because you start importing, you sell your domestic poultry for, let's say, 20 Ghana, and it's coming in. Then there's some that is imported five cities. You're not gonna make any money. You're just gonna collapse.
And where,
So
where are you even going to get the land to do farming? If you don't.
it's like even if you do because there's one thing I noticed that 10 years ago, um it never used to happen because when I do go to Ghana, especially when I'm in Kaswa, I buy a lot of the local products, right? So because I'm in Kaswa, I'm also closer to central region, where a lot of the farm produce are coming from. But I never saw this before, and I'm asking, my family members, is like, is this new thing? Like you buy the produce, you put tomatoes over there, the next day is rotten. You put the onions over there, the next day is rotten. I'm like, when did our farm produce started behaving this way, right? So there's a lot of stuff that is going on. Is that the importation of produce is just not making this, our farmers be able to compete on the skill that is necessary. So people have just resorted to their own garden, you just do it and then you eat it. But farming on a large scale, because some ministers sign a deal to get a cut on some importation of some produce, and that's the way it is, unfortunately. So Alex, what do you think? What should the youth do if they cannot find employment? Should they dig it out? Or should they try to get out? What will be your
Well, I
suggestion?
mean, I think the answer, for us, when you're in that region, is to get out. Go get a visa. Go to the Western nation and
Point.
find something, pasture greener somewhere else, right? But here's the thing: we need to have an understanding that not everyone with a college degree makes it in life. Okay. One
Mhm,
thing that we have forgotten
Great points.
is being creative with our natural talent and ability. Okay.
mhm,
Vocational schools are there. Okay.
mhm,
You have people that are,
Good
I'll say
point.
designers here. That's what we'll call them, designers. But what are you designing? What creativity are you bringing into your designing? You come
mhm.
here, you buy stuff from Louis Vuitton, you buy stuff from some of these top designers, right? What
Sure.
makes them who they are is their creativity.
Mhm,
Just because you're a designer in Africa doesn't mean you cannot create. You
right.
can mix it. You can mix stuff.
Great points.
Mhm,
How was it that Louis Vuitton? Was it Louis Vuitton that went and started selling Ghana Must Go? They put a
I think that
lot
was
of twist
I
to
think
it.
that's Balenciaga.
Just put a lot of twist to it, man.
Hmm.
And we've been sitting there generations,
mm,
and we have massive amount of this stuff. Some designer in the Western nation takes it and put a little twist to it, and now it's selling for thousands.
Great points.
So the youth need to understand what's going on in the country. The youth need to understand that, hey, maybe just going to university and getting this degree, it's not going to put food on the table
mhm,
if this is where I'm going to be.
Good
So
point.
you got to be creative. Okay. If you're going to be in mechanical engineering, go learn. Okay. Learn how to make engines. Don't just fix engines.
mhm,
Okay. Learn how to create alternator. Learn how to do this, that.
mhm.
Not just sitting there when the car comes, you just fix it. That's the
Yeah.
difference between what we know in the Western nation compared to what we know back home.
Mhm,
We just learn something, we sit on our loins and just waiting for things to happen. But somebody from the Western
Great
nation
point.
comes in our country and bringing this different idea, this knowledge, the
yeah.
same thing that you have learned, and he comes in there and put a new twist to it. So it can be done. They just need to be challenged a little bit, right? I think somebody
Mhm,
made a comment like, we just learn about the theory, we don't do the practical, which is true. Because
mhm,
my kids, the math that I know growing up is different from the math that my kids know.
yeah.
They solve, I mean, Tony, you know what I'm talking about because you're in the education sector.
Mhm,
The
mhm,
problem that they solve and the questions that that are being asked, my type of math, it would have been tough. These
yeah.
kids are
Yeah.
doing word problems, they're solving big issues.
Hmm.
The brain is working. The brain is working. So at the end of the day, if we're not challenging our student, the educational system has been the same since I grew up.
Yeah.
You know, it went from the O level type stuff to the SSS, but nothing has changed. Even those times were better to me.
Yeah. The whole
You
level
know,
and A
so
level
at
stuff.
the end of the day, yeah, we're having kids graduate early and becoming doctors at early age, but they don't know crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the other
Good
problem. They
point.
don't know crap, man. So there are a lot of things that needs to be changed. You know, the youth need to understand, hey, you're talking about YouTube, you're talking about all this social media stuff. A lot of them are not, don't have master's degree.
Most of
A
them.
lot of the creative people don't have this degree, that degree, that. It's just what they know and they put a twist to it. If you're a sound engineer, be the best sound engineer you can be,
Good point.
right? If you're a producer, you like music, hey, be the best that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
If you are electrical engineer, hey, do more than just going there and wiring the damn house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, come up with some kind of solution. You know, a two-phase, a three-phase, and interchangeable type equipment. You know, four-phase, whatever. But go a little further than just, hey, come wire my house for me. Hey, come check my plug for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what? And then we cry about stuff. Are you? My job should help me further or go forward with my knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we strive to be. You're supposed to be, you're supposed to go further into whatever profession that you're in. So don't be just the fixer guy, okay? Because I can fix stuff myself.
Mm-hmm.
You give me a screwdriver, Phillip head, flathead, and I can do some stuff, right? So there are certain things that even ordinary people can do.
Great
That's
points.
one thing I've learned about this country. There are a lot of stuff, Tony, that I can do,
Mm-hmm.
right? That I wouldn't be able to do in Ghana. But here, my house, things go down. I don't call nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I learned some of this stuff on YouTube and do it, right? So
Good point.
what I'm trying to say is the youth need to be more creative. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just stop at stage one and say, oh, I know how to wire a house. That's all I know. Let me give you an example. So there's this electrician. He wired my mom's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, we said, all right, we would like to add a camera,
CCTV.
CCTV. You know what he said? He doesn't do cameras. And that's another person's job. Doesn't electrician do cameras here in America?
They could. Yeah.
Don't they do all the
Wire.
wiring and then
Yeah, they can
connect?
provide the wire. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say, man. To stop at what you do and say, oh, um, I just do the wiring. I don't, I can't do the cameras. Really? I can watch YouTube and connect the damn camera. Tony, that's what I'm
Great
talking
point.
about. We are so, I don't know, it's like it's mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, only I mean it's mediocrity. It's like we never want to further what we know or open our minds, our brains to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Learn
Yeah.
more with what you know. Go a little further. Don't just stop. So that's one example that about the stuff that I'm talking about. Oh, I don't do the camera side. You have to call this other person to come in and hook up the camera. You're an electrician. Why should
Yeah.
somebody else come in and hook up a camera? So, bro, at the end of the day, they need to watch the trend. They need to watch what's going on now. They need to have an understanding that, you know what, maybe having a master's degree may not be the way. Having a bachelor's degree may not be the way. I may have to pick up
Good point.
a different profession, right? I may have to find a vocational school and,
Hmm.
and have something that I know and further that
Yeah. Yeah.
and not stopping us at the first stage. Go to stage two, three, four, five. Make it bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
So
Let me give a few shout outs to everybody joining us. Evie Eve, KK, Shanti Queen, thank you. Masakasi, thank you. Nana Dreams, thank you for seeing you again. Super Tio, thanks for joining us. You can put in some comment and questions. We appreciate them. So what should a youth do if they cannot find employment in Africa? This is very, very difficult because for me is it would be unfair for me to sit here and say stick it out, right? Um because I did not stick it out. I got out, right? And so and it is fair to say that most people that left the continent, if they are honest, when you ask them with the things that we have been able to accomplish back home, if we live there, what is the possibility that we'll be able to do the same thing? And I can say most people will say, okay, it will be slim to none. I mean, if we want to do it,
that's true.
if we want to do it like in the legal way, it will be slim to none. I mean, that is the fair answer to that. So for me is I would say this. Um do whatever you gotta do. Because what to be born and live in poverty for your rest of your life, to me is equivalent of you not being born at all.
Yep.
Is now is so at a certain point, you got to do what you need to do. So, but whatever you do also has its own consequences. So, but one of the things I think they should look at is, some jobs that could help is plumbing. It's a good field. Electrician.
Vocational.
Vocational is like if you become electrician, because my electrician can do all the CCTV and all that stuff. That
Yeah.
makes you, that
He
makes you
went he
very
went further,
versatile.
right?
Yeah,
Your electrician went further.
yeah. So when it comes to anything about electrical, you can hook solar, you can do generator, like anything related to that, you can do that. So be that versatile, master your field. Um, and because vocational, I see some people, but there's a possibility you may have to do two things. You may have to work a regular job and then maybe do another thing else to survive, right? And I think in our part of the world, they think one job or one thing should cut it. But here, sometimes people do 2 to 3 jobs. Okay, so but then you also have that aspect, like Tuji said about the social media pressure, which basically it doesn't help when the politicians are rubbing in with the lifestyle. It doesn't help. It pushes a lot of people who are super super talented could use it for more legal means, engaging into other nefarious activities, because there's this pressure to live this lifestyle they see on Instagram and stuff like that. And so for me is, I mean, I can't say like, you know stick to it. I'm like, if you can get out, get out. If you can't get out, then forget about your degree. Forget about your degree promising you're going to be an air conditioning office. Forget about all that, because at a certain point you need to survive. You got to eat. You got to take care of things, and so you need to do what you need to do, to make sure that you can provide for yourself and if you have a family and that kind of stuff. And the better you don't rely on a politician, the better it is for you. And so I have never look at politics and plan my life based on what some politician, whether even Ghana or here, promised me. And so they need to not look at the political side because those are just talks. They're not gonna really do anything about that. So, but it is tough. I know people, like 99.9% of everybody I know in Ghana trying to get out. And these are some people that have businesses, it's people that are educated.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't see a viable way legally of accomplishing their dreams
Mm-hmm.
by living there. They just don't see it. And so those who don't want to conduct themselves in certain ways to say, listen, I need to really get out. Now this question here, the last four question. When you create businesses and our own people run them to the ground for several reasons, how can private entities create sustainable employment opportunities? I don't think the African government actually have to tax to um, Kagame, and a few of them are exceptions. But the reality is that it's going to be more private entities that will be creating these jobs. But one of the challenges, this is a thing I've been hearing a lot from even Ghanaians that are very successful. They have open businesses. These things keep
Mm-hmm.
coming up, not just in Ghana. I met some super successful people from other African countries as well, and this thing keep coming up. When we open these businesses and we put our own people, they collaborate in breaking the whole thing down. So that is a reoccurring theme. So we are forced to put in upper management foreigners in there because our own people, from sales to marketing to accounting to everything, they'll collaborate. And when people are collaborating to steal, they'll beat any system, right? And so one of the things I'm also looking at too is our attitude towards employment. When we get a job and we stealing stuff, and that is that this thing's going on. You get a restaurant, they take the spoon and knives, they take the plates home. People are taking some of the chicken in their bags, raw chicken, they're taking it home. People are cooking the books, and stuff like that. So you have large scale collaboration of theft. Theft is a big thing in Ghana. Half of the rice bag is missing, the beans is gone, right? And so this is a big problem that I'm seeing it from the fine restaurants to your local restaurant. This thing is a problem. So how can private entities create sustainable opportunities, right? Employment opportunities, if they are dealing with this thing? What do you think? How are they gonna able to break through this?
Hmm.
It's hard. It's hard, man, because like I always say, it's the mentality. It's the mentality. The mentality needs to improve. One thing I've learned here in the Western world is when you work with certain, white people, even though both of y'all employees working for like a corporate company, they actually tend to treat the company like it's their own. And
Mhm.
that's something that I've actually admire a lot. Because I mean, me sometimes I even ask them like, dude, I mean, come on, you can fire just like I can. You know, what I'm saying? Why you out here like killing yourself? But it's the mentality,
Mhm.
and that's the reason
Great
why
point.
they keep, I guess, moving up forward and getting better Because us, man, we think, please, man, nobody, like,
This ain't my
you
job.
know, we're not even you, my book, like some mentality, like, at the end of the day, they feel like, look, man, nah, you ain't gonna use me to get rich.
I'm telling you, this is true, man.
It's the mentality, Alex. Like, it's so sad, but
Yep.
at the end of the day, like I always say, man, that's just who we are. That's just who we are. Like I always say, man, we cannot be out here with suit and tie every day like we work for CNN. It's not for us. Like it's for few people. We look at these rappers. Why you think they're wearing all this jewelry? Why you think they got these gold chains? And look at our history. To go too far, like sitting there in this palace, you look at the kings and the queens. It's us. That's who we are. That's who is in our DNA. We love nice things, and we want to sag our pants. That's us. That's who we are. Like we everybody can't be out here button ups and tucked in khaki pants and some loafers or whatever the other people be wearing. That's who we are. So our mentality is what we are. I ain't gonna make you rich. I'm gonna run it down the drain. So we both can be look at our neighbors back home. I got cousins that park their house in front of their neighbor's house so they can walk to their house. That's not even make sense, but it's the mentality. Why should somebody be stealing your part of your land knowing damn well it doesn't belong to them, but yet they will cut their wall and get at least an inch out of your property? Why? It's our mentality. Meanwhile, you got a property line here in America where you live. Some of the sticks are still here. Even when you cut your grass, you even have to ask permission from your neighbor to cut theirs. But where are you from? Please. I want that land. You let me cut your land twice. I'm claiming it, So I think that's who we are. And I think it's sad, but until you learn to accept it, like, look, it's our mentality. We just hate to see others do good. We hate to, if it's not our own, we have a problem with it. So, of course, a lot of businesses are being created by foreigners. And I mean, recently, it was about a week or two ago, I was watching an interview with Zion Felix where he was in Belgium, interviewed a couple of Ghanaians doing real well over there, running their own businesses. And one guy said the same thing. All the Ghanaians he hired ended up stealing from him.
Great points.
So what they do? They'd rather deal with the Indians. They'd rather deal with the other people. Why? Because our own people will run your business down. That's who we are. You go to the village right now. I had an uncle. He went and had some Dioho and Guinness in the village. Every 5 minutes he ran to the bathroom, somebody ran into his bedroom. He went in the bathroom 5 times, $500 was missing. That's who we are. So I think, it's sad, but I'm going to tell you, look at all these great educated, top of the line PhD holders and politicians. What are they doing? They're running the system down to the ground.
Great points.
Let's keep it real. Some of these people own hotels outside the country.
Yep, they do.
And somebody become politician, all of a sudden he owned 5-6 homes. He didn't own them before he got in there.
Good point.
So that isn't our nature. Until we change our ways, nothing's going to work. It starts with us. But like I said, I came into a conclusion. That's who we are. A country that we build a house before we build a road to get into the house. Oh, yeah.
Great points.
We have a long way to go. Things are backwards, man. So it's reality. And I don't think no education can fix this because like Kennedy Japan said, "Obibini, hey, you're bad. Like, let's just face it. Like, it's who we are. You just got to be vigilant when you're dealing with, certain people. I mean, now they are good people, absolutely. But what was it 2 weeks ago? I had a friend tell me a
Good
story
point.
how one of his uncles was a police officer in Ghana, and he was 100% clean, never took
Mhm.
bribe, nothing. Guess what? He retired with nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
All his colleagues that were taking bribes
Great
owned
points.
3, 4 houses. And now his kids are now mad at him. They don't even want to come around him because he doesn't have anything. Because
Hmm.
he decided to what? To do it the right way. So what does that mean? The right way doesn't what?
And take care
It
of things.
doesn't work.
Hmm.
And it's
Good
sad,
point.
but that's reality. So always it's a dirty game. Get in how you fit in. That's it.
I mean,
Hmm.
uh, we deal with some very very deep important topics that, to
Hmm.
be honest, I don't see anybody diving. These issues are not comfortable, but these are truths. These truths that we need to really really you know discuss. Because
Hmm.
that's affect a lot of things. So you have a situation when we talk about unemployment, and you have even Ghanaian successful. I'm not talking about the politicians. Some of the Ghanaians businessmen that are creating employment opportunities, but they are also limiting the number of Ghanaian hiring
Hmm.
because they understand this is uniform. Listen, I talk to a lot of people. This is like uniform.
Hmm.
It was like if you get our people in there from the top to the bottom, they are going to run it down.
Hmm.
Like it was not even a discussion. Everybody said that. Everybody said that.
Hmm.
So now what the future might look like is we've don't change this mindset is that you will have other foreigners or even successful Ghanaians who create businesses and they're not gonna hire natives.
Hmm.
They're not gonna hire natives, right? They're going, or maybe there'll be 10% natives and they'll bring foreigners because of this problem, which is really, really a big threat. So we are fighting for employment, but we are also thinking if they get in, they're gonna run the thing down.
Hmm.
So then, which one is which? Should they be unemployed or should they go in and run the business down? So I don't know which one is worse, right? And it's like you said, I don't. I've, if there's one thing, there's one thing because 2G, you said you think is in the nature of genetics, and I've thought about this thing. I'm trying to say, okay, were we programmed this way? And I said, I don't know because this mindset is irrespective of tribe. It is irrespective of country within the sub-Saharan African countries. I don't know what goes on in the northern part.
Hmm.
It's irrespective of even class or religion. This mindset is just pervasive. It's just everywhere. That if you get 10 of us to run a company,
Hmm.
they're gonna run it down for merit of reasons, like you said. I don't want him to make money, whatever that
Hmm.
situation is. But they forget it is offering them employment, right?
Hmm.
They forget that if this thing runs to the ground, they have no job.
Hmm.
It's like you driving and you say you're gonna go 200 miles per hour because you want to
Hmm.
burn the gas, right? But if you crash, you're gonna die.
Hmm.
And so for me is sometimes I understand why people have all their management non-African. I understand because it's a business. They want
Hmm.
a business to succeed. The
Yeah.
same way I don't encourage put your family members there because they are family members. People must earn that. And as much as you go over there and you see more foreigners in a particular establishment. I understand. I understand if our people are there, I know exactly how it's going to turn out. So then, should we fight for employment then? I mean, what should we do? Or we should just let it be what it is? Because if they get in there, you know how it is.
I think they need to go back to British and return them. Get the Prince Charles and whoever they used to be over there, Prince Henry or whoever he used to run the place. They didn't get back because I'm sorry, man. 60 what? Some years now. I'm still sleeping in the dark. Kids still learning underneath the tree. I don't know. I don't think there's any place in America that you can actually see kids
Great points.
standing underneath the tree as big as
That's
America
illegal.
is. You think there's a place?
Dogs can't even sit underneath the tree.
Oh shoot, man! Some of these dogs got better rooms than. Well, let me just chill. Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying. I know a dog that has his own house.
Oh man.
Dog life insurance is worth more than half of your whole village. I mean, it's sad,
That's
man.
right. That's right. So anybody that's thinking about creating a business in our part of the world, this is something that this is a $1 million input that I gave you guys. Is you have to really consider a lot of things. You
Mhm.
really, and I understand sometimes we want to do the black thing, and stuff like that, but when you are trying to create a business and employ people and change lives and be able to make an impact, create something for yourself, pass down legacy, you have to be really, really smart. You
Mhm.
really have to be smart. You have to be really, really smart. You go with a black thing,
Mhm.
it's going to go to the ground. I mean, listen, and I know dummy. If people are running to a building burning down, I'm not doing that stuff.
Mhm.
Especially that when you hang with people that are way, way smarter than you, have accomplished greater things, they're telling you, like, listen, this is a uniform thought process here. This is how you run a business to be successful. You can't have other people from the gate to the top because this is how you're going to do it. This is how they're going to do it. And so this is something, unfortunately, that's the way it is. Maybe the mindset might change, maybe it might not. But you have to, and because of that, sometimes the sympathy is kind of like, mitigated a little bit because it's like, there he is, he's crying for because he doesn't have anything.
Mhm.
But then when you give him something, he runs it down, you know. And so it's kind of like I've never seen people work against their own interest, right? Why will you destroy something that is supporting you? But we do it. We do it, and the reasons don't make sense, but we do it anyway. You know, if I work for somebody, I want the company to make more money. Maybe the raises might go up, the bonuses might go up. I don't want
Mhm.
them to be bankrupt. But some people say, you know what, I don't want him making money. So we're gonna run it to the ground so we can be the same. Alex, what do you think?
Well, is that mentality in our DNA? Maybe because um, Tuji just mentioned that Zion Felix did an interview in Belgium, and that's a Western nation,
Mhm.
and Ghanaian employees are still stealing. So whether it's in Ghana, whether it's in America, Belgium, Europe, it doesn't matter. You know, that mentality is still there. Now we started this program talking about how we don't have jobs and we're blaming the leaders of the nation and this and that. And the ones with jobs that employ the youth or employ anybody
Mhm.
get the job run down by them because they just have that wicked mentality,
Great points.
you know? So at the end of the day, it's like uye we abui, uye we abui.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where do you stand? For me, it's from experience because when my brother and I were here, we had a little thing that um, what we're doing back home. You know, job for people that we know and things like that. At the end of the day, to make a long story short, dude took money, went to London, right?
Hmm.
So and basically just ran it down, gone.
Hmm.
There's nothing to be done, right?
Mhm.
So this is a little touchy type subject because we started out, talking, feeling sorry for the youth and just unemployment in general.
Mhm.
But we also have to understand that we are our own enemies.
Hmm.
You go and you do something
Good point.
for people, and they take you for granted.
Mhm.
They start stealing from you. You
Hmm.
know, let's say a
Good
three
point.
hundred thousand dollar company becomes $3,000 company
Hmm.
overnight because of collaboration with other people, and you don't see what's going on because it's a it's a group thing,
Good
it's a
point.
gang thing. They
Mhm.
all gang up on you, so your secretary is involved, your manager is involved, the lower people are involved. No one is going to come to you and say,
Good
"Hey,
point.
this is what's going on."
Mhm.
You know, the books are being done wrong. You need to look into the books right. You know, they will have the wrong numbers to show you just to bring some joy or happiness in your life, thinking, "Hey, my company or my job is booming," and basically there's nothing going on. They're just stealing from you. You have no clue about
Mhm.
what's going on. So, this particular topic here, man, is a little difficult. It's difficult in such a way that yes, this is what we do. A lot of people will tell you that. A lot of people who have
Great
created
point.
jobs in Ghana will tell you it got ran down, so I had to come back.
Mhm.
You know, most people will tell you that.
Good
I'm
point.
I'm and I'm speaking from experience. It
Hmm.
happened to us, so I can say that. Um, so we have to ask ourselves: is this something in our DNA? Why does
That
this
would be a
stuff
topic
follow
we're
some
gonna
of us?
tackle. We need to
Huh?
tackle that. We need to tackle. We will take this and tackle the DNA aspect, like why the mindset, why we behave. Was it
Yeah, I
wrong?
mean, some of us
Yeah.
don't have that mentality. I don't have Tony. I don't want what you got. I don't have time for that.
Hmm.
I'm the type of person I always want mine.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, what you got may motivate me to go get
Great
mine,
point.
but
Hmm.
I don't want what you got.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in your shoes
Yeah.
because I don't know how many miles you took
Yeah.
to get to where you got. I don't know if it came from the
Good point.
the fetish priest or it was
No, no,
God's
God, he's
favor.
reformed. He's
Uh,
reformed. He's evangelist talking
Big
to
so
Drew.
facts.
so I don't want to be in anybody's shoes because I don't know what kind of shoes they're walking in, you
That's
know.
right.
But
Great points.
it's true that our people sometimes bring us down. The people you try to help end up bringing you down. The
Hmm.
Good
people
point.
that you're putting food on the table for is bringing you down. The person that was bowing down to you because they needed something, you go back a few months later and they're acting like they're the boss.
Hmm.
You
Great
know,
points.
I know a person who owns like big two big companies in Ghana, right? But when you go there, Tony, you don't even know he's the boss,
Hmm.
you know? But there are other people walking around that may act like they're the boss, you know, but the main person you're not even see. So it goes back to what 2G is saying. Sometimes, we want to do all these. It's just who we are. We want to fancy up.
Mhm.
We want to, look certain way. We want to show off our car, this and that. Bro, I don't have time for that crap because I don't want the next person
Good
to
point.
rob my ass to begin with. You know,
Mhm.
if you end up seeing it, that's great. But
Mm-hmm.
for me to come in and be shown, no, because they plot against you, man, quickly.
Yep.
The
Great point.
way they plot is so crazy just because, I call it crowd. I is something to be challenged. You can see,
True.
just like that.
Good
So,
point.
Charlie, is very touchy subject. We talk about feeling bad for them not having the employment, but at the same time, when you have the place for them to have a job, they end up bringing the house down,
Yeah, they'll destroy you.
you know,
Yeah.
and it happens all the time, my brother. Happens
Oh,
all the time, you know.
Tony, I also think one of the key points, as far as what we're talking about is, mentality and everything, it's the distance between the rich and the poor.
Mm-hmm.
It's the key point here because I don't think there's middle class in Ghana.
No.
Is that you are rich or you are poor,
Yep.
and the distance between the rich and the poor, that gap is
Great
just
points.
it's just unbelievable. So what happens when a gap is so huge? It means the mentality of the poor, because the majority of people are poor. I can honestly say maybe 90% of the people that are poor compared to 10% that are actually rich.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 90% poor and 10% rich, chances are you're going to be hiring one of these poor 90% kids.
Yeah.
And the mindset of a poor 90% kid is to
Good point.
gain, is to collect by any means necessary, because greed will be his first option or her first option.
Mm-hmm.
It's just look at some of these situations that these young boys are dealing with now. You meet a girl, you want to take the girl out. Guess what she's doing? She's bringing 3, 4 of her close friends because it's free food. Because it's
Great
free
point.
food, and
That,
that's
that,
that
that that's
mentality.
when you tell them I got to use the bathroom. I'll be back.
Here with the hooky dook, So
Yeah.
it seems like everybody, not everybody, but majority of people out there feels like if they don't seize this moment, they may not be able to get it again.
Mm-hmm.
So every chance to get, guess what? They want to be greedy. Every chance to get, they want to take more. Every chance to get, they want to make sure they have enough to feed whoever's at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there are more to go plates at weddings and parties in Ghana than ever. Because it's not just sit
Good
there and
point.
eat anymore. There's someone needs to, they got to take food home that's going to last for 2 weeks. They got their kids at home
Mm. Contemplate
because the
50.
poor, the distance between the poor and the rich makes no sense. So people are left with no choice but to be greedy. And when you are greedy, I'm sorry, but a lot of times nothing will be enough for you. It's just like you growing up in America and kids out here, they eat chicken wings and you can still find meat on the wings, and then you give a child in Ghana chicken wings and you can't even see the bone. What does that tell you?
They got gator teeth. They got gator teeth.
What I'm saying? At the end of the day, man, boys are hungry, man.
But you know what though? Okay, I'll give you a point. So generally speaking, that is true. But how Because I remember when we grew up, even when we had, financial difficulties, I remember like we were not that extreme though. Like, yeah, like we did stuff to survive. But if somebody was helping us, that became like our lifeline. You see what I'm saying? Like, if somebody was helping us, like, okay, this person, it was the person that we would do anything for, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't like went there and destroy it and destroy a relationship. And so I'm thinking it's like, because it would not make sense. It would not make sense that
Mm-hmm.
the person that's helping you, I mean, unless you're a sick person, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like if the person that is, let's say, you can't cook, you are immobilized, somebody brings you food all the time, and you kill the person, you kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It would not make sense. Even even you have parasite that keep the host alive, because when the host die,
Mm-hmm.
he dies. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like there's some people, when they look in the mirror, they hate who they are so much that what they don't have, they don't want for anybody else to have that.
Yep.
Right. So they'll rather bring the whole thing down. Right. They'll just bring it down. Instead of saying that, listen, I can be here and climb up. They'll bring the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing down so we all can drown together. It's like a dog that you are trying to save in a river, and the dog is attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? At certain point, this
Mm-hmm.
guy let that thing drown. And the way we do some of these things, it's just crazy. It's like I don't really get it. I don't really I don't really get it. If the person is not helping you, that's a different thing. But if
Mm-hmm.
you can get up and go work for somebody, and even if you're not getting paid to live like the super rich or whatever, at least you have something coming in. You can do other things to supplement your income. But the idea they're saying, listen, I'm going to make sure this business doesn't succeed because of, and I can't see any reason why that can ever be justified. Is just ridiculous. Is just crazy. And for me, this is a major threat. This is a bigger threat than white supremacy. This thing here
Mm-hmm.
is bigger threat than white supremacy,
I,
because if the family is actually destroying this thing at a rate than even what other groups are, then forget it.
mm-hmm.
Forget it. So, but I think someday we will actually dissect this mindset, and we can discuss whether this thing is learned behavior or genetics, because this thing is makes it sometimes when you see somebody who's struggling now, it makes it looks like maybe they deserve it, maybe they did something, maybe it's karma, because sometimes, man, I drive around, I see people in Castro, I'm like, man, I could just offer them a place to stay in the house. But I'm like, don't do it, man.
Yep.
Don't do it. Don't do it. What you get back it's not gonna be pretty. So,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, thanks you guys for joining us. We
Thanks for
appreciate you. We
having
won't keep you
us.
too long. Super Teo, and our dreams, EVE, Sly, KK,
KK.
Nana Dreams, Mansa Kazi, and then let me see if I think I got everybody right.
Mm-hmm.
So don't forget to tune out tomorrow on my other channel. I'm talking about how much money you need to move to Africa. That would be awesome, right?
Mm.
Hey,
The lottery
I'm about to
money.
get beat up again, but it's okay, right here.
Jackpot money.
That's right. So I'm gonna talk about all that and how much you should plan and figure it out and stuff
Mm.
like that. So it will be an interesting discussion, right? There'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be some out of touch, but that's good. That's okay, right? But so tomorrow, tune in on that. That'll be 2 p.m., 12 p.m. Central Time. But we
Okay.
appreciate you guys for all of you for joining us, and thank you, fellas. It was a great topic.